Hello, Greenhouse. This is Mrs. Kelsey from People Place. This is a very important time of year. It's course selection time. That's the time of the school year when we do our course planning for next year. And the choices that you and your fellow Hawks will make over the next several weeks will determine what NDSS will look like next year. So it's really important that we get it right. So let's jump in. Before we dive into how to get ready and eventually submit your course selections for next year, we want you to put this date in your calendar. Junior course selections are due no later than Thursday, February 24th. This means you've made your decisions and entered them into My Blueprint by this date. More on that later. So, let's start by taking stock of where you're at in order to set the course for where you're going, by looking at the requirements for high school graduation in Ontario and how to use your personal graduation summary and your future goals to help you plan. Your graduation summary, a sample of which is seen here, is a very important document to understand. This is where we track all of your progress towards graduation each year, so it's important to look it over carefully anytime you're given a copy to make sure there are no surprises. If you have a look at the top section of the page, you'll see all of the big graduation requirements. And remember, when we talk about graduation in its simplest form, we talk about the three big things: 30 credits, 40 hours, and the literacy requirement. You can see where all of these three big things are tracked at the top. The rest of your graduation summary is devoted to tracking those 30 credits, including the 18 compulsory credits and the 12 electives. You'll see the note on this slide that the 30 credits now also includes 2 mandatory online learning courses. We'll circle back to that in just a minute. Have a look at your course summary. The left-hand side is where all compulsory credits are recorded. You should be able to find all of the credits you've taken so far this year in grade 9 located here. You'll see the course code, the date that you earned the credit, the mark that you earned, and the credit value, which is almost always 1. This part of the grad summary gives you a quick snapshot of the required credits you still need to earn in order to graduate, which makes it super helpful when you're choosing your classes for the next year. On the right-hand side of the page, you probably don't see anything yet, which is perfectly okay for a student in grade 9. Students don't usually start accumulating elective credits until the second half of grade 10. When you look at the courses you've already finished and add them up to the courses you have left on your timetable for this year, the total number we're hoping you get is 8. If your number's lower than that, you may have a grade 9 credit to make up for, and that would need to be taken into consideration when you're doing your planning for classes for next year, if you haven't already worked out a plan with a guidance counselor or student success. Now let's take a moment to circle back to that new online learning graduation requirement. On February 1st of this year, so just a few days ago, the Ontario government released details of the online learning graduation requirement for all high school students. While there are still lots of questions to be answered, here's a summary of what we know so far. This requirement applies to any students who started grade 9 last year or later, so that's you. These students must successfully complete the equivalent of at least 2 full online credits in order to fulfill the graduation requirement. Eligible credits must be delivered in a fully online format, where students do not gather with a teacher in person. This means an in-person class where an online learning platform is used, even regularly, does not meet the eligibility requirements. Recognizing the exceptional circumstances of learning during the pandemic, the Ministry of Education is allowing current grade 10 students to count a maximum of 1 credit earned during last year's school closure. With the support of parents or guardians, students may formally opt out of the online learning graduation requirement. The process for opting out is still in development, but it will be released soon by Limestone, so stay tuned. As far as courses that will count, any courses of any grade level taken remotely during summer session would count towards the requirement. Alternately, students may opt to take an online course as part of their regular timetable during their grade 11 and/or grade 12 years. Information about these courses and how to register for them can be found in our course selection material or by speaking with a guidance counselor. Graduation summaries will soon reflect this additional graduation requirement. There are 5 required courses that students in grade 10 must take. You'll continue taking English, Math, and Science. You'll also take a Canadian history as well as a half credit each in Civics and Career Studies. Because some of our grade 9 classes were so full this year, some grade 9 students reached ahead and have already completed one of these required grade 10 classes. That's fine. If that was you, it just means you have an extra space for an optional course next year. Remember, just like in grade 9, all grade 10 students must have a full timetable of 8 classes over the course of the school year. Grade 10 students in our French immersion program will also take English, Math, and Science, as well as 4 additional required courses taught in French: the Immersion French credit, Canadian History, the half credits in Civics and Careers, as well as Phys Ed. When making these selections, be sure to choose the course that says French immersion in the titles. All of the course codes in our French immersion program end in the number 3. When you're choosing your required courses for next year, it's really important to carefully consider your level of study as well as your pathway plan. To do that, think about your learning this year. Typically, at this point in the school year, you've found a stream that's comfortable and is working for you, and so grade 10 will likely follow along that same path. However, sometimes changes are needed. So ask yourself, did these levels work, and are they going to lead me to the appropriate courses in grades 11 and 12 for the opportunities I'm interested in pursuing after high school? We know that's a big ask at this point in grade 9, but all we can do is ask that you are honest and thoughtful, and that you ask for guidance when you need it, and you make the best choices possible given what you know in this moment. Choosing your level of math in grade 10 is going to be a new experience for all of us next year. Hopefully you're feeling confident about an appropriate math pathway, but if you aren't, you can reach out to your math teacher or a guidance counselor to discuss the difference between grade 10 academic and applied math and the places each can take you in grade 11 and beyond. Next year, if all has gone well, you will get an additional optional class on your timetable. This year you had 2, next year you'll get 3. But the biggest news of all are the number of classes you get to pick from. This year, you had 6 very general optional classes to choose from for grade 9. Next year, there are over 20 from which to make that choice. And in grades 11 and 12, that number gets even bigger. That's because the closer you get to graduation, the more we tailor your education to your needs and interests. As you can see from this grade 10 course list, there are lots of exciting choices available. Please note, though, that this list only represents options and not guaranteed classes. Courses will only be available next year if enough people choose them now, so please make your selections with purpose. Remember to keep the courses required for graduation in mind and to explore your interests. You can find out more details about each course by consulting our full course calendar, which is available from your homeroom class, in People Place, or online on the NDSS website, or by checking out the course descriptions written in my blueprint. Just like last year, you'll be asked to include 2 alternate choices when you enter your selections into my blueprint. Speaking of my blueprint, that's what you'll use to choose your course selections. This is a tool that all Limestone students have access to, and is not only how we choose our classes, but also has lots of other great features that can help you plan and prepare for the future. It's very important to the course selection process that you access my blueprint through your Limestone Minds Online page, as that is the only way that courses get sent to us in People Place. You probably know how to access this already, as it's where your online courses live, but if you need a reminder, I usually suggest getting there by Googling Limestone District School Board and using the Minds Online portal located right on their homepage. You'll be asked to enter your login credentials, which is your full Limestone email, and the password you would use to log into any school device. This will bring you to your landing page, and your My Blueprint widget should be located right across the top with all of your other apps. You will enter your courses in the High School Planner. If this isn't already on your page when you open up the app, you can easily get to it by selecting High School from the menu on the left. You'll be working under the bright blue heading that says Next Year. If My Blueprint is feeling cooperative, when you click on a course heading, it will take you to the appropriate options for that class. So for example, when you click on English, it should take you to a list of available English courses for your grade. But please note that this doesn't always happen, for whatever reason. So if that's the case when you're trying to enter courses, don't panic. Just use the filters to select the subject area you're looking for, such as English, Math, Business, Technology, etc., and then look for the appropriate course code. Be sure to match that code up exactly as it appears in the course list page, and carefully read the full title to make sure that it is in fact the course, grade, and level you are looking for. As an aside, my blueprint almost never remembers where to find civics and careers. So civics can be found under Canadian and World Studies, and careers can be found under the heading Guidance and Career Education. If you make a mistake or change your mind when you're making your selections, you can use the 3 dots within the course box to delete your selection and start filling that space again. Once you've entered all of your specific classes for next year, plus your 2 alternates, you'll be prompted to review your courses. On the review screen, you want to look for green check marks to indicate that all of your choices are courses that you are eligible to take. If you see any red X's, be sure to check on the error and fix it if you can. If you get an error regarding an incomplete prerequisite, maybe something you're recovering but haven't quite finished yet, or something you're planning to complete at summer school, please just leave us a comment so that we can approve your courses knowing that you have a plan. After careful review, sharing your planner with someone at home, and leaving any necessary comments for us in PeoplePlace, you're ready to submit. Use the big blue button to submit, but only when you're 100% ready. Once you've submitted, changes can't be made without seeing a counselor. And remember, classes run or don't run based on the choices you make now, so please make those choices carefully. Once you've successfully submitted your classes, you should see the date and time of your submission near the top of your planner page. Here you can print off a copy of your choices for your records if you like. Just a final, friendly reminder that your courses must be submitted no later than Thursday, February the 24th. So that's it, Greenhouse. Use the tools we've chatted about today, including your personal graduation summary, the course list package, the full course calendar, and the resources in my blueprint. If you need to chat with a counselor, feel free to book an appointment using our online booking tool. You can scan the QR code here. You got this. Good luck, Hawks.